Hello, everybody. I figured I would do a walkthrough of what lesson 3 looks like, and also attempt doing the homework a little bit to show you what you'll see or have to go through, and maybe that way you'll have a more straightforward time attempting the homework. I have turned off any adaptive release settings, so anybody should be able to access lesson 3 regardless of whether you've done lessons 1 or 2, and that way you don't have to worry about catching up and we can get your assignment in this week. So, like every week, this week's assignment for lesson 3 will be due on Sunday by midnight at the end of the day. And let me just go over what we need to do this week. So, you need to turn in two things this week, the lesson 3 assignment and the lesson 3 lab. So let's check out the assignment. I would recommend going through these videos, especially if you're not comfortable with the operating system you're using, whether it's Mac or Windows, and then just the concepts of creating a file, a folder, and your home directory, things like that. We have a video on computer security and internet safety for those of you who might not be familiar with different things like Wi-Fi and encryption and two-step verification, and some stuff about binary and bits here if you're not completely familiar with computer architecture. And then a lot of you who are mainly working on tablets and mobile devices may not be familiar with absolute and relative paths, and so that's a bit of a lecture on that concept. And let's start with the assignment. So I kind of like this assignment because it's a little creative. You'll start off with coming up with two questions that are related to the content so far. And so if we look back on the last two lessons, we can think about what content we've already seen. We've done ChatGPT. We've come up with using search engines. So your questions could be related to the use of search engines, the use of ChatGPT for creative content or just for answering questions. And then lesson 1, if you have any questions related to plagiarism or academic integrity. And then I think we went over your computer system, so RAM, ROM, different forms of memory on your computer or your hardware. So anything related to that is fair game. So 2 questions related to anything we've studied so far. Let's go back to the assignment. All right, so you'll come up with 2 questions. So let me just open a. All right. So one question could be, we have used Chat GPT for creating blog posts, but what are other creative ways of using the tool? Question mark. My second question could be, what or how do the different LLMs, so LLM stands for large language model, that's what ChatGPT is, and there's different forms of them now. I think the popular ones are Bard by Google, so that's bard.google.com. ChatGPT is by OpenAI. There is Microsoft Bing's chat tool. There's quite a few now, but they all have their own strengths. So how do different LLMs compare in their functionality? Okay, so these are my questions. I don't want you to copy these questions. I encourage you to come up with your own 2 questions for this assignment. After you've thought of 2 questions, we need to use an ASCII2 to binary online tool to encode them. Okay? So ASCII2 is Unicode it is this text that you see right here. So it's plain English characters. We need to convert them to binary, which is zeros and ones, the foundation of computer language. So let's do that. So it says use an online tool. So I'm just going to go on Google and I'm going to search ASCII to binary converter. And here we go. So ASCII is text. That's why it says text to binary. And we're going to go from text to binary, and you just want to convert your question. So I'm going to copy my question here and paste it and click convert. And there you go. This is the binary encoding of my question. It's almost like a secret message now, right? Because we've converted it to a different language that not many people know, and they'll need a decoder to actually convert it back. All right, so let's go back to the prompt. So that's what we just did with our question. We converted to binary. So for the assignment, you'll convert both of your questions to binary. And then the assignment asks you to post your questions into the discussion board. So I'm actually going to click this. I believe this should take me, yep, takes me straight to lesson 3's forum. Looks like William has already posted his question over here. So when it comes time to post, I'm just going to, well, I could just show you right now. I'm going to create a new thread and I'm going to call the subject. I don't think this says post the questions to the discussion board. Okay, that's all we have to do. So I'm going to say my binary questions. You can title the subject whatever you want related to this assignment, or you could just call it lesson 3 assignment. And then I'm going to paste the binary encoding right here. Post your questions. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to post my questions separately. So I'm going to call this Sharik's question 1. That's my first question. I'm going to submit this. And then I'm going to create another thread for my second question. That way it's easy for people to answer questions and see which questions are open. And I'm going to convert my second question, get the binary, and create the question 2 thread, and paste, and submit. All right. Can I rename this? Sharik's question 2. Submit. There we go. Okay, so that's my 2 questions there that people can actually attempt to answer. Then we have Williams down here. Let's see what else the prompt says. So I've posted my 2 questions to the discussion board. Find 2 questions to answer. So now I gotta find a question posted by somebody else and attempt to answer it. And so I won't answer William's question, but I'll show you how you're supposed to decode it. So you can just go ahead and copy the question up here and go to text. So this time we're going from binary to text. Oh, paste it again, convert. Oh, so this is just his heading. So in binary, he wrote binary post William Chuck. And then for his actual content, it's down here. Looks like this is both of his questions. His first question is, do you think ChatGPT will take the jobs of programmers? How are you enjoying the material in the course so far? And so for the answer, encode your answers. So your 2 answers should also be in binary. So, to answer these questions, say your answer to the first question is, I think that ChatGPT will take a lot of jobs that involved monotonous tasks. convert, I gotta convert it from text to binary. There we go. So this is my answer. I would copy this and paste this as a response to William, like that. I'll just submit it. That way people can look at it as an example. But that's basically what you're doing. You're answering 2 questions from other posters. So if you sign up or if you come on the website and there's not a lot of questions from people or all the questions have been answered by a bunch of people, I'd encourage you to wait until Thursday or Friday, and then there'll be plenty of questions for you to answer. So get on here and at least post your 2 questions. And, by the end of the week, maybe you'll have a couple questions to answer that haven't been answered yet. So you need to encode your questions and post them. Then you need to encode your answers and post them as well. And that's all you need to do for the assignment. And then you have a lab, which is file system basics. So let me open that. And if you're pretty familiar with working on your computer, creating, moving files, things like that, this should be a breeze for you. So you'll start off with creating a project folder. Let's do this. So this is Windows, or this is Mac. So Windows will be a little different, but not too different. So create a project folder, okay? So I'm gonna create a new folder in here called lesson. Well, it says create a project folder. I'm gonna call it project. All right. Oh, and name it CTI-110. Okay, so you're gonna rename it to CTI-110. All right, then we're gonna create subfolders. So I just showed you how to create a folder. You just go into that CTI-110 folder and create assignments and labs folders inside. Then inside that, you're gonna create a text file. You can, I think on some operating systems, you can just right click and do new file. You can't do that here. A lot of you probably have a favorite text editor already. If you don't, as a software engineer or a budding web developer, I would advise you to get comfortable with using a lightweight text editor. I really like Sublime. It works on Windows and Macs. You can just go to Sublime. I believe it's sublime.io or sublime.com. Sublime.com and download it. Other competitors include Atom. Atom is another very popular text editor, but there's quite a few. You don't have to download one for this specific. Oh, maybe Atom is going away. Anyway, Sublime is what I like to use, but you can use online resources to see what other good ones are. But for this assignment, just Notepad or WordPad or Notes would work fine because you're just opening a new file, adding some text and saving it. And so since I use Sublime, let me open Sublime. And then it says create a text file. Go to the assignments folder. So in your CTI-10, you have an assignments, and inside assignments, you're gonna save this file with your, okay, let me just show you this. So let's say I want to save this there. Okay, so I'm gonna go to File and Save, and then I'm gonna navigate to my CTI-10. Inside CTI-10, I needed to have an assignments, and then labs. All right, and inside assignments, we want to save this file. It will be called last name underscore lesson3.txt. So Jamil underscore lesson3.txt. And I'm gonna make sure assignments is clicked. This is a great way to organize. And the main purpose of this assignment is to teach you how to organize your stuff well so that you can find it later and find it easily. I do this with all of my stuff. In fact, you can see all my personal stuff is kind of stored in these branches of folders right down here. So this is a great way to organize for your classes, not just this class, but all classes and classes in the future. You could just have one directory per class, and inside you can have it sorted further down by assignments, labs, and different categories you might have. So I'm just gonna save this file there, and now it's saved. And then this actually tells you what you need to put inside the file. So line 1 will get your full name, the full path of the text file. So let me just show you real fast. If you're not familiar, I would advise you to watch that video about relative paths versus absolute paths. But the path to this text file on the computer starts all the way from the hard drive down to the file. So in this case, you could see I went to get info. I believe in Windows is right click and go to properties. But you can see over here, the path goes from the hard drive, there's a users folder, then my account, documents, CTI-110, and then assignments. So that's the full path. I believe you can also copy it. I guess you could copy this, or no, there's no get path here. I use a lot of IDEs. IDE stands for integrated development environment, and so they give you a lot of stuff out of the box that are meant for power users. Anyway, that's how you find the path to your text file. Then it asks you to take a screenshot of the folder, the subfolders in the text file. And so in my case, if I make this real big, you can either take many different screenshots, or if you could make it big enough. Does it work like that? No. Yeah, so technically, take a screenshot. All right. Let's see how I can go to that view. Boom. Okay. So this actually would show you right there. So if you go to this view in Mac, I just click this button right here. It'll show you CTI-110 assignments, the text file, and the text of the text file inside. That's a perfect screenshot. If you are not able to get to a view like this, we can accept multiple screenshots. That's okay too. We just need to be able to see that you created a CTI-110 folder and then an assignments and a labs folder and then saved your text file inside the assignments folder with the contents of the text file. The contents of the text file is not so necessary because once you upload it to Blackboard, looks like you'll be uploading a text file as well. I can see it there. So if I could just see how the folders are arranged, that's enough for me to see that you completed the assignment. That is all we're asking for this week. So hopefully y'all can get done. If you have any questions, again, please post in the discussion board first. There is that student help forum over here. A lot of times y'all can help each other before I can get to you. Sometimes it might take, 6 hours for me to get there because I can only check my computer so many times a day. So I would encourage you all to help each other. And good luck on this assignment. Bye.